Namaste and welcome everyone to the collaboration of VL Astrology and Kṣaṇāti Jyotish on Rahu and Ketu. We're very excited to be at part 2 today, where we're going to be looking at a case study, and Vanita Ji and I are going to be approaching it from different angles. I'm going to be discussing the soul cycle as it relates to the chart, past lifetimes, unfulfilled karmic debt, and Vanita Ji is going to be going into detail on her analysis, as well as including some very helpful remedies. So it's so good to be here with you, Vanita Ji. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Kṣaṇāti, for this collab. We both are really, excited about it equally, I know. And people are also, from the community, they've sent loads and loads of email messages. But we are, we are really sorry that we could not pick up all of them, because we wanted to do that, of course. I wish we could, but yeah, due to, so many reasons, we can't do that. But yes, we have picked up a few, and we'll be taking up one by one. And this will be spread over, maybe weeks or months. So stay tuned. And I hope, they like it, the way we are doing the analysis, and there is no hard feelings. Like we are just doing our job, like as astrologers. If there is anything negative, please forgive us if we come up with something, but if it requires attention, definitely we will be doing that as well. So that's something, we are going to be keeping in mind. We won't hurt anybody's sentiments, and none of the identity will be disclosed. Be rest assured, and surely we'll be taking lots of things in mind, and we'll be doing the remedies also. All right. So Kṣaṇāti, please share the chart description about that person who has shared the chart. The same details I have also got, on my email, and you have also got it. So I'll be sharing the horoscope. Then you can give a little bit about, the idea about the, description part, what the person wants to know. And then we proceed further on, one by one. And thank you for this collab.
So excellent to be here and to dive into this. And I appreciate your compassion to the community. And I just want to let everyone out there know that when we're doing Jyotish, a lot of times we seek advice or consultation because we want a certain answer. But the role of a Jyotish is to tell you what you need to hear to help remedy your karma, and not necessarily what you want to hear. So please keep that in mind.
Right. Absolutely.
So this is the chart we have here of a native who sent in their case study for Vanita Ji and I to review. They were November 4th, 1983 at 1:40 p.m. in Tamil Nadu. So I'm just going to read their query, and then I'm going to go into some detail about their soul cycle and how I would interpret it. So this is their query. Happiness and home time have always been a problem. I also have many desires for work and success, but never seem to be able to concentrate or complete the work necessary. The past 2 years have been nothing but misery for me and unhappiness. I have finally purchased a home, and everything went wrong on the first day I moved in. I had a bit of a mental breakdown and have had such a hard time with everything around me. I don't know how to proceed or what my destiny is. I feel so utterly lost in my life. Any guidance, remedies, or help you can provide me would be greatly helpful. So to look a little bit into the soul cycle concerning this chart, first I like to look at the Ketu Jupiter conjunction, which is in Jyeshta Nakshatra. Now, this is a very tight conjunction because they're both in the same nakshatra here. So it's important to understand that when a planet is conjunct with Ketu or Rahu in the same nakshatra, it's considered a very tight conjunction. And although Jupiter might get along with Ketu a little bit better than some of the other planets get along Ketu, I'm not sure we're really trying to understand that any conjunction with Ketu is particularly favorable in our terms of our material experience, in terms of our happiness in life. But what's the karma behind this? And so when we take a look at these different positions to understand the karma, I like to understand the previous incarnations And I always talk about the positive side of it. And when I talk about Ketu and Jupiter in Jyeshta Nakshatra, I like to emphasize a lot of ancestral karma that this native is continuing to carry from one incarnation to another. So that means that from a spiritual perspective, they come from a very strong family lineage, a very ambitious family lineage, a family that wants to get to the top of whatever they're striving for. And so there's a lot of wisdom here as far as to stay progressive, to stay motivated, to keep determined, to never give up, right? Ketu is, some Vedic astrologers believe, has exaltation in this position. So it's important to understand that there's a lot of favorable qualities before we talk about what are some of the challenges. So there's a lot of wisdom here because of the 10th house conjunction in the previous incarnation of this native to be a very dedicated hard worker. This is someone who is career driven as a soul. This is someone that is career motivated as a soul and wants to achieve the top level in their success as far as their career goes. The 10th house is an Arthabhava house. So we want to understand that this person has a lot of wisdom about what does it mean to have comfort in the material world, to have comfort in the career, to be able to succeed and put the job first. And that's the positive side of it. Now, what kind of difficult karmic energies could this create? Now, because of this energy being so strong in the 10th bhava, from a previous soul samskara perspective, I would say that in the previous incarnation, this person was a workaholic. A workaholic, which means that we already talked about the positive side of it, and I'm not coming from a place of judgment, just from a place of understanding here. And a workaholic means that I am so dedicated to my job, that I am so dedicated to my work, that I am putting it above other things. We'll talk in a second about unfulfilled karmic debt, about in terms of what they may be putting it above. But this would mean that they prioritize their work in their life, and there could be a little bit of a drive towards the egotistical side of work, which means striving for the highest position, forgetting other areas of life, and kind of having a little bit of I want to be famous. I want us to be successful. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be successful, but like all things in life, it really comes down to the balance of our priorities. And so this is a very strong position for maybe not having the best balance when it comes to the priorities in terms of the career, in terms of the career being over prioritized or overemphasized. When I read the query of this person, I have many desires for work and success, but I have never been able to concentrate or complete the work necessary. That's because this Ketu Jupiter conjunction is creating a karmic block in this area of life for the individual, because there's actually more to life than a job. There's more to life than money. There's more to life to focusing on this career. And it don't mean that I don't want this person to be successful in career, but there are some other priorities based on the unfulfilled karmic debt, which we're going to look at next, which I think needs to be a little bit more of a higher priority. So to kind of see the unfulfilled karmic debt as it's manifesting in this lifetime, I like to focus on Rahu's position in Mrigashira Nakshatra in the 4th bhav. Now, when I like to see that Rahu is in Mrigashira Nakshatra, generally speaking, I like to see Rahu in Mrigashira Nakshatra. And by the way, this native is also going through their nodal return, right? Ketu is in Scorpio right now. Rahu is in Taurus right now. It's completing its transit, but it's been hitting this person's chart rather directly. And so this karma, it's fruiting right now. And so this is where there's going to be that karmic block in their career, so they can create a more direct path to their fulfillment with that Rahu and Mrigashira in the 4th bhav. Now, Mrigashira is that seeking nakshatra, and Rahu represents our mystical and occult potential. So, and we'll talk about some of the areas that are kind of have left unscratched or ignored in the previous incarnations for this person, because when you focus on job, when you focus on money, when you focus on work, it kind of leaves some other areas. And one of the things I like about Rahu and Mrigashira, when I see it in a chart, I think of a deeply mystical individual, someone who can have affinity for chanting, someone who can have affinity for the Bhakti yoga path, someone can have affinity for Ayurveda, someone who can have affinity for Jyotish, Vastu, and the different trinity and groups of other mystical and occult sciences. But when you're always focused on how do I get to the next level of career, it could leave that mystical, occult, spiritual aspect of you unscratched. And it's not that this person can't be successful in their career, but as long as their career is going to be over prioritized over their spirituality, I think they're creating a karmic challenge for themselves. Because again, this is a fixed karmic position with Rahu and Mrigashira in the fourth bhava. So this chart is really saying part of their unfulfilled karmic debt from their previous incarnations is to focus on their spirituality, is to focus on their wisdom, to develop a deeply spiritual practice with chanting and yoga and pranayama and proper Ayurvedic diet relating to the dosha of the individual. So I just wanted to focus on this client from a karmic perspective, a huge remedy to focus more on the mystical spiritual side of life. And then also one of the things that I'm seeing, this is the fourth house of the home. This is the fourth house of the family, the mother specifically. And one of the things that we're seeing is they mentioned, I recently bought a home, but everything has been going wrong since I moved in. For some of you know, one of my areas of research is in astrocartography. And a lot of times when I see that Rahu position in the fourth house, it shows that you're going to be most successful in terms of that home life when you relocate out of the country that you were born into, or if you relocate out at least of the city or the state that you were born into. And one of the things that we see with this 10th house position is when you have a focus on your career that's totally focused and directed on your career, you don't get to travel, you don't get to relocate. So part of the energy of why this person might be suffering in the home is because they're meant to explore the world. They're meant to live in another country. They're meant to travel and see different places. And with that Rahu and Mrigashira in the fourth bhav, as long as they stay stuck in the same geographic location, that home life is not going to be beneficial. So again, it's showing, okay, I need to prioritize my spiritual life. I need to prioritize my need to travel. Look at that ninth bhava too, with that stellium of 4 planets in the ninth house. This person would like to travel. They're stuck. And so that fourth house is creating an unfulfilled karmic debt that says, if you want to be successful in your life, if you want to be happy in life, you need to focus on your spirituality and you need to travel. Maybe not get in a home in the location that you were born in or in the location that you've lived at for a long period of time. And then one other thing that I wanted to mention, I am very sensitive to some positions in this chart with the Venus debilitation in the 8th bhav, and then the Mars being very strongly in the 7th bhav here, that this person might have challenges in terms of romantic relationships. And I'm very compassionate and sensitive to that. But when you over prioritize your job, when you over prioritize your career, you don't have time for family. You don't have time for your husband or wife. You don't have time to give attention to your parents or give to your children. And that's creating some of this karmic cycle too, which is suggesting with that Rahu and the Mrigashira nakshatra to prioritize family, to prioritize your parents, to prioritize your spouse, and not let your work be the dominant factor of your life. And one of the things that I have seen is, okay, well, are you telling me that I can never be successful in my career? No, that's the last thing that I'm telling you. But I'm saying if you want to be successful in your career, you got to balance these other things in your life. You have to balance your spirituality. You have to be open-minded to finding a new geographic location. And you want to focus on interpersonal romantic relationships and family. And that doesn't mean to ignore the job, but don't let it dominate your life. So that's just a little bit about the karmic soul cycle that I see for this native. I hope that this has been beneficial for them when they view the video. And now I'm very excited to hear Vanita's analysis and her remedies as well.
Great analysis, I must say, Kṣaṇāti. Thank you so much. I would just like to start with something very unusual about this chart. That is that the Lagnesh is conjunct with so many planets, first of all. And whenever, the ascendant lord is with so many planets in the ninth house, so this native must be a Vishnu devotee. Also, we have to see the condition of Rahu Ketu conjunct the planet, that is Jupiter. So which you already have, I think, analyzed well. With Mars also aspecting this Ketu, this person must have gone at least once in a lifetime some surgical process. Can have a little bit of roughness in speech also. Please don't mind me saying that. You have to, these are going to be helpful for you only because this will work as remedies. So you have to, be very sensitive to what you speak, sensitive to the other people. And when the Lagnesh is joined with so many planets, like Saturn, so you can have profession in the foreign land also. See, this is Aquarius, a picture which has a lot of depth in it. It's very narrow from the top, and as you've seen, it is very huge in the bottom. So this means that you can hold a lot of things, a lot of secrets, and you have a lot of desire to grow also, right? So some transformational energy, some transformational events in life must have happened with Rahu Ketu axis so predominant also in your chart. This is the 11th sign of the natural zodiac. So you don't get influenced by others, on the hearsay. No, that person is saying so, so that's something that I have to, follow. You have your own say, you have your own mindset. You don't want to just flow with what the other people are saying and you fall into that. You're not like that. You became extrovert little later in life. You were quite introvert. And you have that desire to grow spiritually also. That is because of Saturn in the ninth house. You can have some troubles related to knee, calves, ankles, and maybe, with the reproductive system also. You can have some blood related issues also. So you have to take care of that as well. I will tell you the remedy for that as well. You can maybe have some skin related troubles also with Lagnesh in exalted with Mercury, Sun, Moon. Shift from the place you are born in. You should actually leave the place where you are, and that will be helpful for you. That's one of the remedies. And you will always have some problem with your siblings. Property related issues. Why? Because Rahu is in the fourth house. So, and Mars is also looking at this Ketu, which is in the 10th house. 10th house Ketu is not a good placement actually. Whenever 10th house has Ketu, that brings about some problem or related to the career also. And in Libra, Saturn, when is conjunct with so many planets, you're an engineer, or it could be that you are a designer, something to do with nursing, maybe nursing jobs. Seeing the conjunction of Saturn and Moon, I've seen people having job and profession in the foreign lands. I don't know whether you are, because I wanted this person to be online live with us, but I didn't get any response. So this is something, which can give you the professions related to foreign lands, or maybe something to do with exports, imports. That is also quite likely. And with Mercury also conjoined here, your education and profession has to be the same. Some work related to speech, authority, maybe you're a lawyer, or maybe you are into some herbal medicines also. Maybe you can be a good healer. Jupiter and Ketu conjunction generally brings about constipation, I've seen, to people, or something related to the anus also. And a lot of depression, migraine, these kind of things are also quite likely. In your front row of the teeth, there must be some gap. Okay, you have to tell me that, in the comment section, if at all that's there. And Ketu Jupiter combination is considered to be very good actually. They're very good, very intelligent people, and they don't forget If somebody has hurt you, especially, you will not forget that easily. But yes, you have a problem that you don't listen to people and you want to just speak. So you have to tame those energies as well. You don't have to lose your temper or be a stubborn natured person and, just lose out on the friendship and the relations that you have around you. So because of that, you will always have some problem or the other. Meeting with the, somebody, on the way you have met, a female counterpart who is going to be really making a change in your life, who's brought a change in your life. Somebody, on the move, when you were on the move and you came across somebody. So that person actually was a very important person, and maybe that person is still there in your life. See, troubles in the domestic life is because of this Rahu in the Taurus sign. Taurus sign is a very materialistic sign. At the same time, it's in the place where, moon rules. So Rahu here gives growth at the cost of your peace, mental peace. Okay, so don't adopt any wrong means to attain materialistic goals. Do whatever you have to, but maintain that value system of yours. With Jupiter Ketu combination, I have seen, the curse from the past because of hurting some guru, somebody who was a teacher or a guru of yours in the past life. You have to actually serve the Brahmins, the priests, if at all you can do that. And so, feed the cow. That is also in the classical text is mentioned. And wear a silver chain always around your neck and keep a small gold piece because it's Jupiter. So keep a small gold piece in your pocket always. Carry it always with you. Okay. And if Rahu Ketu axis, whenever all the planets are, you're supposed to do the Kṣaṇāti temple. You have to visit and you have to do the Kalsarpa Puja also. So do that in the Kṣaṇāti, South India. You will get that, get all the details on the internet. So you will just find out and get that puja done once at least. And Rudra Abhishekam is a very important perpetual remedy that you should be doing, perform that Rudra Abhishekam every 6 months or 1 year's time, or maybe when you're born under the Shatabisha Nakshatra, you must be having this confusion also whether you're a Dharnishta or a Shatabisha. You're a Shatabisha Nakshatra born. So you should do on a Shatabisha Nakshatra day, perform this Abhishekam, Rudra Abhishekam. Okay. And you should worship Goddess Durga also, any kind of chants which you have to actually be donated. You can ask somebody who's a Dikshit priest from the temple, and you should be doing that as well. And leave the argumentative nature of yours, because that is causing a lot of issues in your life which you really are unable to combat. So that's what is this about. And Venus in this is debilitated in a negative house, so this is not going to be giving you any trouble. And I think it's a good chart because your Lagnesh is well positioned, exalted in your 9th house, so the luck is by your side, luck is in your favor. And it's conjunct the 6th lord also. So probability is that this person is is settled abroad only, is settled somewhere in the overseas. This is from India, Trichy, this person. So maybe, this person is already settled somewhere overseas, or is going to be, should be going overseas. Right now, the dasha of this person is Saturn, Venus. Then will be Saturn, Sun. Saturn, Venus will end in March 2023. And Sun will start. Saturn, Sun would be a little better because Saturn, Venus is in 212 axis. But yes, Saturn is in Venus's sign. So that's a, Yoga Graha for you. So definitely Saturn, Venus Dasha is good if you serve the females, or the small girls. You should do something for them or get them married during the Saturn, Venus period from 2020 to 2023, in between this time. Saturn, Sun will start, Saturn, Moon, Saturn. See, you have a long way to go. Saturn ends in 2032. So till that time, you have to really, accept things, be worshipping the Lord. And Lord Hanuman also, if you will worship, it will be really good for you. So I think that's it, Kṣaṇāti.
Vanita, what a wonderful comprehensive analysis. I loved so much that you said. A couple things jump out to me is you were going over the career potentials and you mentioned the possibility of as a healer. And I really like that possibility for this native because of that karmic cycle where I want them to focus on this mystical, and you said about keeping their morality and their values intrinsic within them, even at the opportunity for material gain. And I think that the opportunity to work in a career where they're serving other people and when they're helping other people in terms of herbalism or Ayurveda, it really jumped out to me as a beautiful remedy. And I just want to agree on that with you. I thought that was lovely.
Thank you so much, Kṣaṇāti, for this collab and the analysis. I think we all will wait for more to come, I think.
I agree. Keep the case studies coming.
Can't we invite them? Can't we invite from the community for the live session next time? Maybe.
I would love that. And if you're comfortable with coming on our collaboration live, send in your case study and let us know that you'd like to come live with us, because that'll put you on top of the list.
Right. So you are welcome to be live with us, whosoever feels comfortable, and we'll proceed further on then. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Stay blessed. Om Tat Sat.